Hey, what's up, guys? This is going to be a preview of the Ring of Honor 10th anniversary show. Um, Very disappointed. Why should I really say disappointed, or just I don't know? The show was just not there. No excitement for the show. No one's really talking about it. It just feels like a filler show for WrestleMania weekend. It could end up being good. I don't want to totally crap on it. I'm not really interested in going to the show. Not really interested in watching it. But it is a pretty big deal. It is the 10th anniversary show. 10 years. A lot of people were anticipating this as being the biggest show in Ring of Honor history. People were possibly hoping that they could fill up an arena with 10,000 people if the show was promoted right. But that's not going to happen. The show is it just looks like it screams filler. There's just nothing on this show that stands out as a must see. I'm not going to say it looks like a bad show. It could be good. A lot of it has to do with the booking. If they clean up some of the booking from Final Battle. I thought the second half of Final Battle was very poorly booked, but if they clean some of that up, this could be a great show. But just not excited about it. The video wire didn't get me excited. The television show is still a chore to watch, in my opinion. A lot of question marks about this company. I think a lot of things need to change. I don't want to sound too negative, but I do want to wait until WrestleMania weekend to give you guys my response to everyone that responded to my video about Ring of Honor being the worst year in the company's history in 2011, and how the WWE has surpassed Ring of Honor. I definitely do want to follow up on all the guys that gave me a response, but I just want to wait for the right time. Don't want to jump to any conclusions. They're built. Obviously, WrestleMania weekend is going to answer a lot of questions, so there we go with that. And I just want to touch on, before I get into the preview, just want to touch on the overall state of Ring of Honor on the YouTube community. There's just not that one guy, maybe besides LV, who's been really doing it all as far as reviews go, but there's just not that one guy that really supports the company like a lot of us did a couple years ago. We had like 5 or 6 or 7 guys that came on here and talked passionately about Ring of Honor. That's definitely not the case anymore. Even True Slayer, I know True Slayer will still defend this company and still point out what they need and how they are going to get better if you just give them a chance. He will defend them, but in my opinion, the proof is in the pudding. If you watch True Slayer's review of Man Up from 2007, watch some of his 2007 reviews, and if you compare it to some of the stuff from 2011, like Manhattan Mayhem 4, Death Before Dishonor 10, Best in the World, whatever, it's not the same kind of passion, not the same kind of fire, and it is in his eyes like it used to be. And the same thing with me too. It's just definitely not that passionate about the company as we used to be. And look at all the guys that don't talk about Ring of Honor anymore. Sean Carlton, Zero, Mr. Wrestling Inc., Mr. Narrator, Nightmare Baller, Instant Classic 8. The list goes on and on and on and on. Even Big Red and Honor Hammer probably don't feel as passionately about the company as they used to. So it's really kind of tough to swallow, and it's kind of sad, but at the same time, let's give Ring of Honor some slack too. If you look at the big picture, they lost so much talent. Austin Aries, Samoa Joe, TNA, WWE has Tyler Black, Evan Bourne, CM Punk, Bryan Danielson, Low Keys, and Dragon Gate USA now. So they've lost a lot of the guys that made Ring of Honor what it is. Just not there anymore. You can't just snap your fingers and replace those guys. The main event scene is having a really tough time right now. It's particularly with the video wires. Eddie Edwards, David Richards, Roderick Strong, Kyle O'Reilly. These guys need a lot of work on the mic. Just a lot of questions need to be answered. Things are a lot different now, and I just don't want people to accept the fact that Ring of Honor is they're owned by Sinclair Broadcast now. They're just a different company. They're a mainstream company. The booking is totally different now. I don't think we should accept it. They shut the message board down, I guess for a reason. You could just imagine the negativity on the message board if it was still around. So, but let's not waste any more time. Let's just preview the show. First up, we have Homicide versus the Prodigy Mike Bennett. Now, here's my thing about the Prodigy Mike Bennett. The sports entertainer thing, the gimmick, I know Man on Fire talked about how this is awesome because you have all these wrestlers trying to be the best in the world. So it makes him stand out as being the one and only sports entertainer. Kind of like CM Punk in the WWE, a wrestler among sports entertainment guys. My problem with this is in Ring of Honor, you have way too many sports entertainers. Hassan Benjamin, Tommaso Ciampa, even Michael Elgin to a degree. All these guys could be classified as, the WWE type of look. So that's my problem with that. Even maybe Jay Lethal to a degree because of the gimmick thing with Macho Man. So it's just maybe this whole thing with Bennett, it might have worked out years and years ago when you did have guys like Bryan Danielson and Tyler Black and all those other guys. But yeah, Homicide versus Bennett, this is the type of match that you really wouldn't even want to watch, even if somebody paid you $5 or $10 to sit down and watch it. Next up, we have the world's greatest tag team, wrestling's greatest tag team, Charlie Haas and Shelton Benjamin versus the All Night Express, the returning Rhett Titus. I believe Rhett Titus' first match since Glory by Honor 10. Or since Final Battle, excuse me. Yeah, Haas and Benjamin, to me, they're just really single-handedly, killing my love for Ring of Honor. Rhett Titus is it's gonna take him some time to get back into his rhythm. So I'm not expecting this to be as good as their Glory by Honor 10 match, which was very, very average to say the least. Haas and Benjamin, let me just say this: it's one of those cases where WWE lets them go, and they become exposed. There's a reason why. I'm just starting to think there's a reason why WWE didn't want him anymore. You had Bill and Doug and guys like that coming on here and saying that finally WWE they don't have the WWE handcuffs on them, and now they're going to show what they can do. But it didn't really work out like that. And I have my reservations about these guys coming in. I was happy to see happy to see Shelton Benjamin, because I was always a huge Shelton Benjamin fan. But even I don't know what it is. Either it's laziness or just uninspired. I don't know what it is. It's just not the same guy that I remember. And just like I said, I'm not a big fan of Charlie Haas. He's just one of those guys. He's getting up there in age. He just reminds you of one of those guys that just it just has nothing left in the tank. He just seems very, very deflated. And you hate seeing him wrestle. You hate hearing him on the mic. So yeah, that's pretty much it with Charlie Haas. Next up, we have the Amazing Red and T.J. Perkins taking on the House of Truth of Michael Elgin and Roderick Strong. I think this could be a sleeper match of the night. I really think it could. I think this would be the first time Amazing Red has been in Ring of Honor since 2003 or something like that. So I like the combination of Perkins and Red. Two smaller guys. You got the high flyer, then you got the technical guy. And Elgin's been on a roll, and Roderick Strong's a great wrestler as well. So there should be nothing wrong with this. I would just like, I don't know, I'm not as high on Michael Elgin as some of the other guys on here. He can get it done in the ring, but I definitely think he needs a better manager. And just I don't know. I just think he could be, maybe Kevin Steen could get something out of him down the road to get some more personality out of him. So there's that. Next we have Jimmy Jacobs versus Kevin Steen in a grudge match. Jacobs cut the best promo on the video wire. Jimmy Jacobs has, it just seems like his run is going unappreciated. I feel like he has a lot more to offer than what he's been given. This guy, he's one of the few guys remaining from Ring of Honor's glory days from 2006. That promo was great. It just reminds you of how awesome this guy could be, when he's given some type of storyline or a feud. And I could see, I could see Jimmy Jacobs becoming the world champion. I really could, with the roster being this depleted. I definitely think he's somebody you could build the company around. And I think this thing with Kevin Steen should be bigger than what it is. I just think it could be a lot bigger, instead of just a stepping stone for Kevin Steen to, make his way to the Ring of Honor world title. But, in my opinion, I think this is what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping the grudge match will set up a fight without honor at WrestleMania weekend. Maybe Steen could, main event against Jacobs on night 1, and possibly he'll take on Davey Richards on night 2. I would think that's probably the direction that they might go in, but I could be wrong. Next up, we have Jay Lethal versus the dominant male, Tommaso Ciampa, with the Embassy. I think Tommaso Ciampa will probably win this match. With Embassy's going to be at ringside. Lethal is, I don't know about Lethal. He's had some good matches, against El Generico, and he looks pretty good out there. But at the same time, it's kind of like he hasn't really. It just doesn't seem like he's gonna, get any higher than the television championship. His promos have kind of been uninspiring. But we'll see. I mean, I don't want to sound. He's not like Homicide, though. You know, a lot of these guys come from TNA and really have a tough time. He's definitely not Homicide. He's definitely a step above what Homicide was when he first came back. But I like Lethal. Maybe we'll give him a shot. You know, he had a shot against Davey Richards for the Ring of Honor World Title at the Homecoming. We'll see how that match went. But you know, maybe he'll lose the championship here and move on to bigger and better things. That's all we can hope for. Next up, we have the Briscoes versus the Young Bucks. Yeah, this they've had so many matches over the last couple of years in PWG, and Glory of Honor 8, the Final Countdown. They had a great match. You know, they've had some matches that were really disappointing. They've had some, you know, decent matches, okay matches. Their HDNet match is pretty awesome. So you don't know. You know, if it gets time, it could be a really awesome match. This should definitely be the depending on how you feel about the main event guys in the main event, this could end up being the match of the night. You know, I'm just hoping there's not going to be interference from Haas and Benjamin. In my opinion, if you're going to do the Briscoes and Haas and Benjamin at WrestleMania weekend, might as well give the Young Bucks the titles. I don't think anyone wants to see Haas and Benjamin compete for the tag team championships anymore. I think the Young Bucks there's plenty of other teams that they could defend the belts against. And, yeah, so, you know, the Young Bucks have proven in the past that they could be a great heel tag team champions. And I think the time is perfect for them to win the belts. All right, the main event, we have Davey Richards and Kyle O'Reilly taking on Eddie Edwards and Adam Cole. I like the storyline, though. The storyline on paper actually looks pretty sweet. The problem with it is you just have these guys cutting promos, and it's just like there's just nothing there. It's like a hot air balloon. There's just nothing there that makes you want to see it. The situation with Eddie Edwards grabbing Adam Cole and saying, you know, Adam Cole, I see a lot of myself in you. You know, I don't like the way Kyle and Davey are acting like they're above everybody else with this whole MMA thing. You know, let me take you and, you know, maybe we could make something out of this. It's a pretty intriguing storyline, actually, on paper, but the execution of some of the promos have just been god-awful. It's just, we just don't really care about this match. It is great for Adam Cole. You know, he will be, you know, main eventing the show, as well as Kyle O'Reilly. Great for those two guys. I don't know. I kind of think they split Cole and O'Reilly up kind of quick, but at the same time, I feel like they were in such a state of need for, you know, better singles guys in the main event scene. And I definitely think Adam Cole has the charisma and the personality, and he proved in CZW. I haven't watched a lot of CZW, but I saw Better Than Best of the Best 10, that show, and Adam Cole proved that he could be an awesome heel. So, you know, maybe this could be the start of something big, and maybe Adam Cole ends up being that guy that really, you know, ends up carrying the company, which I think he has. He has the advantage, because not only is he a great wrestler, but he's really good on the mic. You could be like a Jimmy Jacobs type of guy as well. But, you know, I've kind of had my fill of Eddie and Davey. I think Davey will get a lot of heat here. I think people are sick of this MMA thing. Now, I don't know why they're trying to shove this whole MMA thing with Team Richards down everyone's throats. A lot of people don't like it. You know, maybe the mindset is that, you know, this is the way for building up Kevin Steen, you know, to turn Davey heel and, you know, kind of have him as this goody two-shoes type of heel that, you know, turn his back on pro wrestling and trying to do this whole MMA thing, which is really a big turnoff to a lot of pro wrestling fans. And so maybe that's the way to set up for Kevin Steen. I'm not really sure. But the way Davey is right now with his character, it's definitely very, very stale. I wouldn't be surprised if some of the fans really turned on him here. And Davey and O'Reilly their promos have just been god-awful. They're just kind of unwatchable. So, yeah, I mean, I'm thinking this. I think we'll probably get Davey and Eddie night one, WrestleMania weekend. Or maybe Davey, Eddie, Roderick Strong on night one. I think the triple threat is a little bit of a better idea. So we'll see what happens there. I just, you know, you could just see this match being overkill. I just hope it doesn't go like 45 minutes with a whole bunch of no selling and, you know, over the top spots and all that stuff. I'm sure it'll be a great match, but I don't think it needs to go any more than maybe 22, 23 minutes. So that's just it for that. So here we go. You know, I'm definitely going to skip on this show. I'm not going to say it's going to be a bad show. I think I'll just wait for the DVD. If you are going to the show, have a good time, and I really hope this ends up being a great show, and as well as get you excited for WrestleMania weekend. So if it does those two things, And if the booking is really really good, then it could end up being a success. So that's pretty much it. Hope you guys enjoyed the preview, and take it easy.